1 hour pretzel buns, or pretzels for that matter. Here's the ingredients. One of the first things I do is actually put my 4 cups of water into a pot and add my 1/4 cup of baking soda, and I just put that on a burner on a low simmer just so it gets warmed up. Then I add my salt to my flour. Actually add the salt to the flour as opposed to adding into the yeast mix, just because I don't want the salt to retard the yeast development in any way, shape, or form. I want that to liven up and go crazy. So that's why I mix the salt with the flour. Ta-da! Next, warm water, 500 mils, around 90 to 95 degrees. Add in the yeast. Add in some brown sugar. And a little bit of melted but cooled butter. Give that a stir, and let that sit for about 5 minutes. Just let the yeast liven up and start to do its thing. After the yeast is activated, put the bowl under the stand mixer, add in my dough hook, and start getting ready to add the flour in. Now, I don't add the flour in all at once. I'll do about 2/3 of a cup, roughly about 150 grams or so. I like to incorporate it a little better, so I just keep doing that, adding some flour in, letting it stir, lowering it, giving the sides a scrape, starting it again, add more flour, scrape the sides down, add more flour, scrape the sides down. I'm going to speed this up because you don't need to see all of this. While we measure out 675 to 700 grams of flour, I often just add a little bit more at the end because it just needs it. After a while, it takes me probably about 5 or 6 minutes to get to this stage because I just take my time. And then I get the dough to a lovely consistency. It's a little tiny bit sticky, but all the flour's been incorporated in. There's nothing left on the sides. There we go, it's all done. I'm gonna remove it from the stand mixer and then just drop it on a nicely floured surface because we're gonna need it 3 minutes. That's it. It's the only kneading you gotta do, 3 minutes. Doesn't take too long, kind of therapeutic, a little zen if you want it to be. Get some shoulder development too. Just need that, and I'm not going to make you watch all 3 minutes of it, so we'll speed it up here a little bit. When I'm kneading, I just give it one fold, push the weight down, rotate it 90 degrees, fold it, do it again. After 3 minutes, it's done. So we'll speed that up again, because again, you don't want to be watching all that, not in real time anyway. Because you can actually make pretzels from this, pretzel bites, pretzel sticks, or in this case, pretzel buns. Then, once you get it all in, I'm going to shape it into a ball and let it rest. So if I'm doing pretzel bites, pretzels, and pretzel sticks, I give it about 10 minutes. If I'm doing buns, want a little more bit of a yeast rise, I'll let it rest for about 20 to 30 minutes. I don't want to go an hour or anything like that. About half an hour is as long as I've gone so far. After it's rested, I'm going to take it, pull it to scale, and I'm going to portion it out. And I'm shooting for roughly about 105 to 110 grams per bun here, pre-cooked. So I'm just going to measure those out, and that gives me a nice dozen potential rolls. So I just keep tucking them underneath, developing some surface tension on the top, tightening it up and making it a bit smooth. Not too worried about how even the bottom looks, because once we get them in the oven and they start rising, that'll all fill in on the bottom and you won't even notice. So get it shaped into a nice cute little ball. I'll often use a pastry scraper just to tuck it in underneath. So it does a much better job than my hand because it gets a little farther underneath. So there we go. I'm gonna do all 12. And at this point, I let these guys rest for about 3 to 4 minutes. At this point, I like to take my baking soda solution and just bring that up to a boil. Doesn't take very long because I had it simmering. And then I drop the buns in, and my pot's good enough for 3 at a time. And these only 20 to 30 seconds. Now I put them face down because the baking soda actually helps them brown, so I want the tops to be a little browner. I'm not so concerned about the bottoms because they're gonna get more heat anyway. So I give them about 15 seconds, then give them a toss, and then 5 to 8 seconds later I start spooning them out. And I just put them directly onto a silicone lined baking tray. You can use parchment paper, although if you use parchment paper, I would put a little bit of oil or some sort of butter down. And at that point, I'll drop my next 3 in. And in the 15 seconds they're going, I'm just gonna grab some kosher salt and just put it over top of the buns. It's still a little wet from the baking soda bath, so it sticks nicely. And then, by the time I finish that, ready to flip them, give them about 5 to 8 more seconds on the other side, and then take about just like the other ones. And I usually do about 6 buns per half sheet. It seems to be give enough distance. They don't expand overly much, but I just like to have a nice airflow around them while they're baking in the oven, so I don't put them too close together. And like the others, once they're out, give them a little salt while they're still wet. And that's it. This tray, pretty much ready to go into the oven. Oh, one other thing. Yes, I'll score the tops just to give them a little room to grow. The first batch I made, because of pretzels, I wasn't even thinking about the growth of a bun, and they kind of flew out of the bottom a little bit. So yeah, give them a nice little score on top, and I've already done the second batch as well. So if you don't have a razor, sharp knife works. It's all good. Gotta make sure they all got nicely salted there. At this point, into a 400-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 22 minutes, give or take. Cooking for a pretzel, about 12 to 15. Pretzel bites, 10 to 12. Pretzel sticks, again, about the same as pretzel, 12 to 15. These guys, somewhere between 21 and 24 minutes, depending on your oven and conditions and how big you make them. And remember that, if you do a larger portion, add a minute or 2 to your baking time. Anyway, take the first batch out of the oven, put them on the tray to cool them down nicely. Oh man, they look so nicely browned, don't they? Oh, those are so good. Those are so good. Yeah. Oh, look at those puppies. Ooh, want them. All right, second batch is out of the oven. Putting them up to cool. I like the way the salt's kind of browned a little on there too. And there we go. Pretzel buns. We'll give it a slice down the middle. Pop her open. And let's see. Oh, look at that. Oh, that would make a beautiful burger bun. Oh, it's so soft. And oh my God, does it ever smell like pretzels? Oh, my kitchen is so good right now. I think I'm gonna eat that. Here's your ingredients. Don't forget to give me a like, subscribe.